Where do compelling creative breakthroughs come from? How can you be even more creative when the resistance is growing all around you? Rok Sanda shares what he did in this fascinating showcase. Rok studied English literature with an emphasis on creative writing at the University of East Anglia in the United Kingdom. Upon moving back to Slovenia, Rok quickly gained acclaim for his historical plays, winning multiple awards and achievements in theater as a writer and director. He has also been running a creative writing course for the past 9 years. In the following, Rok takes us on a riveting writing journey. Along the way, we will see if he heeds the advice to always listen to your characters and if his writing stays truthful. Perhaps most interestingly, we will see in which random areas of life he drew serendipitous inspirations from. Inspirations that led to compelling breakthroughs. Let's join Rok's journey now.
So, using Obsidian for writing fiction, a humble example. Some of the things I'm going to show you've already seen, but other things are going to be new to you guys. So, anyway, let's just head into it. When writing, you're always jumping between two modes. Write as you see stuff happen, which is a fast process, and look for connections, find deeper meanings, which is a slow one. Sometimes that process is straightforward, usually it's not. The problem with writing is this: prose is linear, thoughts aren't. And not just prose, but writing in general, even screenplays, it's all linear. Writing is essentially guiding the reader or viewer down a linear thought pattern. But it's your job to find that line. Having the right tool is essential. It doesn't make the writing better necessarily, but a bad tool will make it worse. I've written using many different tools in the past: paper notebooks, Word, Scrivener, simple text files, WriteMonkey. I've slowly been inching my way down the markdown line because if you see, the last two are simple text files, which are markdown friendly, and WriteMonkey is basically native markdown. I like that it's totally mine, totally movable, and that it's future proof, sure. But the problem with all of the above is that they are all linear. They can help me put down the end result, but do they make me write any better? No. And then I saw the Obsidian graph and I started playing with it. And the graph started to grow. The problem was I might have become too excited about the graph. I wasn't doing much writing. But I had an idea. I wanted to connect all of my fiction, the stuff I've already written and the stuff I was still yet to write, into one cohesive library where I could then make sense of it, find new connections. Because writing isn't just writing, even though that's the most difficult part of the process, it's also the easiest in a sense. Once you get started, you just, well, write. But I have folders upon folders and notebooks upon notebooks of different ideas, various connecting thoughts that aren't connected. For example, I have this trilogy of plays I've been working on, and I had a great idea for an ending when I started in 2015. This was the idea: part one, part two, part three. It was all linear. But then you write the first part and you have to change bits here and there because your characters want it that way. And you should always listen to your characters, which is a note I have. So part one changed. And then in part two, there were different options: option A, B, and C for part two, which wasn't written yet. I started writing the second part, and the third part is now a multiplicity of different avenues. So I've written the first part, I've written the second part, but the third part has got like at least 10 different options I can go down. Three of them are completely different plays. So I'd have to decide which one I want to do. And I've also already put the part one and part two on stage already, and I've boasted about having a trilogy already. So there's pressure on me to make the third part. People keep asking me, when's the third part coming? Which one do I choose of the options? Which one is closer to the truth? Writing should be truthful. That's another one of my notes. Because in a sense, even though fiction is a lie, right? You're making stuff up, but you're discovering a deeper truth in your fiction. That's why, even though I wrote the first play in 2015 and the second play in 2017, I'm still yet to write the third one. I'm scared of tackling that pile of notes. My ultimate goal in Obsidian is to get a hold on that pile, tackle it into submission, get all my fiction under one roof, the linear and the non-linear stuff, all of it. That would be my capstone. Well, getting just halfway there would be a success, actually. But that's not an easy thing to do. So when I joined this cohort, I quickly came up with a simple approach. If I am to end with a good capstone project, I need a beta project first. And I had one of those never finished projects just waiting to be the test tube baby for me. So here we need to go about half a year back in time. My wife is a psychotherapist, and she once showed me a poem written by Dr. Frank Oakberg, a psychiatrist and a pioneer in trauma. It's about a series of trauma cases he experienced with his patients, culminating in a court ruling where the victims were denied justice because of a lack of evidence. The traumatized victims testifying sadly wasn't enough for the judicial system. That's what made him write the poem. And when I read the poem, I really felt it to the bones. And whenever I feel something that deeply, I need to create something. I saw there was a film that could be made, inspired by the poem, someone narrating the poem, someone acting it out, etc. So let's read the poem now, because I've been flashing it a couple of times in the sprints and stuff. Memory shouldn't be. Memory shouldn't be shards of a broken dream. Secret pain shouldn't strain breathlessly to scream. I know the where, I know the when, I know the who too well. Believe me or believe me not, I have a truth to tell. But mother, if you cannot hear, I'll keep your peace. A day, a year, forever, if your doubt and fear convinces me to silence. Your honor, if the proof you seek is rusted, lost, too old, too weak, forgotten, then I shall not speak. Dismiss my plea with silence. It matters not who hears the voice. Once I have understood, the thunder of the truth untold will echo in the wood, and judges naked in their robes will shudder at the gate. How thin the cloth of innocence against the chill of hate. Memory shouldn't be shards of a broken dream. Secret pain shouldn't strain breathlessly to scream. I know the where, I know the when, I know the who too well. Believe me or believe me not, I have a truth to tell. By Frank Oakberg in 1993. I know there's something there. I feel something. But how do I show it to others? I can see images, but how do I compile them? I first tried the old fashioned way. Just shove it into a screenwriting app and you'll figure it out. But it just sat there for months. I could see the film, but I also couldn't. The problem was, I could do that approach, but I had so many other projects that this one just kept getting pushed back, even though my mind kept going back to it. I kept thinking about it. So that approach didn't work. And then I started working on it in Obsidian. Here's my thought process. Let's start with a simple brain dump, the old fashioned way. What do I feel when I read the poem? What is it saying? Memory, silence, justice, screaming, shards, broken dream, destruction of self, not worthy of love, disorganized attachment, which is a negative attachment in psychotherapy and psychology. Being close to someone is something to fear. Youth, child abuse, and marital abuse. Those were kind of the thoughts I had when I was dissecting the poem. And I slowly create a couple of new notes. Maybe something is there. Memory, silence, justice, scream, shards, dream, disorganized attachment, which was a note I already had. That's why I wrote it. Child abuse. Then we had a light sprint. Random words, nothing connected with my beta project. Theme of the year, focus on the process, Tetris effect, kintsugi, deliberate practice, caterpillar, shadow, GameStop, hug. And when I was later looking at my list, I realized this fits in, the hug. So I put it in. I opened up that note. Types of hugs, maybe. What about this thing? That's a hug, a self hug. We did it as kids, as a joke. Look at me, someone's hugging me. Ha ha ha. But it's also such a sad image. Someone soothing themselves, which is what a child needs to learn when there aren't any parents around. Or when the person that was supposed to protect you is the one who hurts you. So this connects to unworthy love, self-hug, being close to someone is something to fear, child abuse. What do I see? What are the images of this film? A victim standing in the snow, hugging herself from behind. We see a naked back and black streaks across her back. That's what I see. And with her hug, she washes them away. Let's go back to the poem. What do I see? Why do I see snow? It matters not who hears the voice. Once I have understood, the thunder of the truth untold will echo in the wood, and judges naked in their robes will shudder at the gate. How thin the cloth of innocence against the chill of hate. How thin the cloth of innocence against the chill of hate. There it is, the snow. That's the snow. It symbolizes the innocence. It symbolizes the cold. It's both at the same time. It's renewal. It's a blank slate like a child. I start writing a couple of scenes, not the actual script yet, just to get the mind jogging on the ideas. A figure is wading through the snow, witness 17, with a heavy coat of dark red. She's struggling as she walks in the deep snow. The background is a duality of white and black. It's a forest filled with vertical lines of spruce trees carrying heavy loads of snow. The red coat is a cliche, but that's for later. Ignore the internal editor when writing the first draft. Onward, you lazy piece of asterisks. The witness stops in the middle. She looks at the trees. She drops something in the snow. Whatever she drops sinks into the deep snow like an anchor into the deepest ocean. Only a hole remains. The witness pulls snow from her sides in wide swinging motions, to pull snow into the hole, to bury whatever is there. As she does this, we can see wings forming in the snow to her sides as if she is the snow angel embodied. And then she drops into the snow on her knees. She's crying. Something is wrong. She wants whatever is buried, she wants it back. It's something I can work with this. What is she burying in the snow is my next question. And I go back to my first list. Okay, youth. What about youth? Another one of the light sprints. That's when we did the youth note. And when I was writing, I started digging into it. I've written a lot about youth, actually, about how trauma is transmitted from one generation to another, how it never ends until someone ends it. Intergenerational trauma, like in wars. My trilogy is about that, actually. The father in the first part is an aspiring aviator, building his own airplane from scrap when World War I erupts. The battles of Isonzo, if anybody knows. His dream of flight is destroyed by the war, deformed as is his self-worth. His positive attitude, never to be destroyed, is now destroyed. And he imbues that feeling into his son. There's this poem that started the whole trilogy. It's what the father's ideology was in the beginning, and the sole reason I named the first play Icarus in Slovene. Never forget thy fall, O Icarus of the fearless flight, for the greatest tragedy of them all is never to feel the burning light, by Oscar Wilde. Reinterpreting the Icarus myth not as a cautionary tale, but as a source of wonderment, how far we can fly if we only believe. But his son is not the Icarus reborn. His father kills himself in a frenzy of revenge, and the son carries his rage into the next generation. He becomes a phoenix, forged in the fire of rage as World War II rages in the background. The phoenix myth. Wait, wasn't I working on Memory Shouldn't Be film? How did I end up here? Intergenerational trauma, youth, the wings of youth, endless possibilities, taken away by abuse. And that was in the script. As she does this, we can see wings forming in the snow to her sides, as if she is the snow angel embodied. So the wings were already there in the text I've written. It's already there. A victim standing in the snow. That's what I wrote before. Hugging herself from behind. We see a naked back and black streaks across her back. And with her hug, she washes them away. No, no wings of youth. She pulls those dark lines into wings. She can be reborn. And she slowly stands up, and as she stands, her coat slides to the white snow, revealing her naked back, and the back, the smooth skin, what should be sensual, is filled with hard lines, black lines covering her back like lashes from a whip, or bruises of beating, or cuts from nails all at once, black as bile and bulging as scar tissue. And she stands tall among the spruce trees, naked in the snow, her back revealed to the world, and she moves her arms into a hug. She hugs herself like we all did when we were kids, and it looks like someone else is hugging her. And as she hugs, she pulls at her bare back, and the painting slowly morphs from lines. As she slowly loosens her hugs and her hands move to the left and right of her back, the lines morph and smudge. And as she finishes her hug with a sudden pull, the lines are now more like wings, black but smudged and smooth like the surface of her skin. And back to the poem. I done something, but that's not enough. The beginning is such a strong statement. Memory shouldn't be shards of a broken dream. Shards. So I go, definition hunting, which is something you do when you have no idea what to do. A broken piece of fragment, as of pottery or glass. Okay. Zoology, a tough scale or covering such as the elytron of a beetle. That there's flight there, but I'm not sure. It doesn't work, I think. Not yet, anyway. A mirror could be broken into shards. A mirror can be a portal to a different world. It could be a way to see yourself, to reveal your scars. So I created a note about mirrors, but I wasn't sure if it would go anywhere. I go to my friend DeviantArt, a wonderful website to get inspired. This is what I find. Crack a smile and break into tears. Such a strong statement and such a beautiful image, like portraying something in the poem, something in the person, I don't know. Perhaps the victim also carries a mask, a broken piece of herself, something to hide behind. Not sure yet. There's something in the hiding. Shards. They can also be shards of ice that will melt in the sun. Okay. Shards of a broken dream. Ice, broken dream. There's something there. What about pottery? It could be a piece of pottery that a child has created for her mother, one of those ugly things from clay. Did she bury that? Her youth? A flower blooms from the crack? No, not a flower. Something simple, green, a healing. Yes, a healing. So I type out the ending. The woods are less snowy now. It's almost like spring is coming. There's greenness in the white and bright colors. The snow has melted away from the clearing. The forest still looms. The trees still harass, but they're receded by the green. A small pile of snow remains, and next to the pile, there is something. A piece of pottery, a cracked ashtray, and on it, a faded heart. Through the cracks, a strong green stalk of grass is pushing upward towards the sun, as all around shards of ice are melting into oblivion. I found the ending. Shards of ice melting into oblivion. Oblivion being the healed memory. It's a start, but there's loads more in there. The poem is so rich with meaning. Hold on. The light sprints. Hold on. Theme of the year, focus, Tetris, kintsugi, deliberate practice, shards of pottery. What about kintsugi? And so it goes, as Kurt Vonnegut would say. You could go on and on and on. That's the joy of writing, made better through Obsidian. And that's the end of my presentation.
Seeing Rok's process is a joyful thing, isn't it? He shares a really fun example of how the process of creative writing isn't linear. It's a helpful reminder that inspirations can come from places you'd least expect. You just have to be open to receive them. So now let's give Rok some love in the comments below. And by the way, Rok's showcase is the 10th showcase I've been able to share on YouTube out of well over 100 showcases from all of the Linking Your Thinking workshops. There's so many more people I hope to showcase to you because they show how personal the process of personal knowledge management can be. So thanks for tuning in to this showcase, and until next time, stay connected.